Okay, thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you for staying with me on this one or coming back to me on this one. Now we're just going to get right back into it from where we left off, the monster texts. Now, as we all know, when you deal with a narcissist, they're going to not only gaslight you, but then they're going to tell you that you're the reason everybody's fighting. You're the problem, not me. I haven't done anything. It's you, it's you, it's you. And that's what she did. So essentially, when her attorney, the horrible attorney that Amber Heard has, when he was talking about monster, here's what it meant. Because Johnny Depp's attorney asks him, what did you mean by monster? And he says, the monster in her eyes was defined by Miss Heard as this out of control person. It was her go-to phrase for me being drunk or on drugs. Yeah, right. And then he says the monster for him was sobriety, was trying to be sober because I was plagued by these requests to stop drinking. The monster could also be if a conversation goes into an argument. Now pay attention to this right here. If I respond to her, if I took part in the verbal back and forth, calling names and screaming obscenities, she would call me the monster. So essentially, he's the monster because he's just reciprocating what you're doing, Amber Heard. Is that right? Because that's exactly what it sounds like. So basically, it's like, let's say you and I were arguing, and I'm telling you shit, and I'm telling you shit, and I'm telling you shit, and then all of a sudden, you tell me something back, then I'm like, oh, here comes the monster. Here comes the monster. You're going to start getting angry? Huh? You're going to get angry, huh? That's what she would do. That's exactly what she would do. Horrible person. Horrible person. Let's see, moving on. And then he says, he would change. Let's see, hold on, wait. The guy who's actually dumb enough to continue to take part in the arguments. He would change because of her instigating. That is the reason why I would try to get away from her. I tried to run away and tried to lock myself in rooms. She would come and bang on the doors. I would just walk away, which drove her through the roof. I mean, you can't say it so many goddamn times because it's true. So essentially, she wanted him to fight. She wanted him to fight back. And after he fought back, she called him the monster. And yet we're also sitting here talking about the same person that faked abuse allegations. Come on. This is so obvious what's happening here. Johnny Depp was a mark. And you want to know what even makes it more worse is the fact that she went into his trailer when they first met. So she seeked him out. She was going to look for him. So she probably did. She probably said, oh yeah, you know what? Let me go and get with this hot ass actor. He's a real big deal right now. He can make me some money. He can make me a star. And then when none of that happened because she was never getting any movies, she said, fuck this. I'm going to start treating him like shit and I'm going to bait him into beating me so I can get money from him. That's all it was, man. That's literally all it was. It's ridiculous. So then moving on, just a label. And then he said, when you are constantly in a position of being harassed by your beloved other, what else could I do? I wanted to be numb from someone that supposedly loved me. That is sad. That is sad. That's genuinely sad. To think that, I think it's pretty much official now. Johnny Depp loved her. He genuinely wanted to be with her. And he even said it before in his testimony. He thought he could fix her and make her come around. I think it's just, there is no more to say. She knew what she was doing. And she did it. And really, there's no telling. Was she ever going to not fake allegations? Because that's just an out. That's what that is. Faking allegations is a way to get out of the relationship. So more than likely, after the relationship, somebody told her, hey, you know what you should do? You should fake allegations on him so that way you can ruin his life. And that way he'll have to pay you. And that way you can sue him. And on yada, 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 yada. And then da-da-da-da-da. And you know exactly how they are to each other. Those toxic women, that's exactly how they are. You know that. because they just scheme and they scheme and they scheme and they see, oh, how can we hurt this guy? What can we do to get his ass? It's the worst. So then he talks about the blood paintings that they were trying to say that he cut his finger off and then he was like writing all over the wall or something. And they were trying to say that it was his fault. And he says that he was doing that and making the paintings to remind her that it had happened. So essentially, the reason he's writing with his messed up finger is because the exact same thing that happened during the first day of his testimony. It's where she would go off on him, she would hit him, she would beat him, she would start fights, she would throw vases, she would throw pots and pans, and then the next day they would wake up and she would be like, well, I didn't do anything. I don't know what you're talking about. What do you mean? I didn't start any, I didn't go crazy. What are you talking about? So essentially he's leaving her messages so that way tomorrow she's not like, what are you talking about? I never did any of that. Ugh, I swear. Could you imagine that? Could you? And that's so tough to imagine, though. Could you imagine? You lose your finger, and then there's the possibility that the person that took your finger off would tell you, "Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. That never happened." Oh my God! Look at that. I'm getting red. Oh my God, that is infuriating. So then they talk about more text, the text to Dr. Kipper, I believe, and the text sent from Johnny. At that point, I was frustrated of how I was living my life, and I had a disagreement with the doctor. I was apologizing to him for going against his wishes. He tells the doctor, I have chopped off my left finger as a reminder I should never chop off my right middle finger. So when he said that, their attorney tries to say, well, you chopped off your finger. You did it. You cut it off. No, you fuck. Ugh. So then he comes back and he says, why would I cut my finger off myself? I've been a guitarist since I was 12 years old. It's the only peace I've ever found in my life. There is no reason in the world why I would cut my own finger off to ruin my opportunity to play the guitar. He goes on to say, why would I start lopping off digits in my 50s if I am a walking tantrum? Why would I ruin the only good thing in my life? So you're trying to tell me, and hold on, let's make one thing very clear. Amber Heard is really hot. She's really hot. Like, she's not an ugly person. She's not an ugly, well, inside she's really ugly, but she's not an ugly woman. So for him to say, like, the only thing that makes me happy, that is so messed up. Because like he said in his first day of testimony, he said that it was only for like a year and a half that she was a nice person. Dude, they were together for years and years and years. And I'm sorry, I do have to agree with some people that have said this. It is his fault that he never got away from her. It really is. He never told her, he never kicked her ass to the curb. He never told her ass to get out. He's a better man than I am. I swear to Christ. And if that first, and then she gets physical with you. If a woman gets physical with you, not only do you walk away, you walk out. That is for sure. Because let's say in the future, if she gets physical with you again, then you have to defend yourself. And what's going to happen when you defend yourself? Oh, you pushed me. Oh, you hit me. And then she goes to get a nose, what is it? A Kleenex for her nose, and she puts nail polish on it. Oh, dude. I mean, really, you want me to tell you what? I think that if Johnny Depp wouldn't have been so rich, I think he probably would have been over like his whole life. He probably would have killed himself. He probably wouldn't have given a shit, because when things like this happen to normal guys, they never live it down. They can never live it down. But the thing is, when you're that rich, you really can just go into hiding, and then you don't have to see anyone for years and years. So that's probably one of the only reasons he got away with it, because he was so rich that you're able to sustain that damage, you see. So, and he also has his own movie company. So, like, you know, in the process of this happening, you start to see that he really, not only did he fall off, but he kind of only sustained himself. That's really what it was. And then after the break, they start talking about his finger again in Australia. Johnny goes on to a text, and they say, Her obsession with herself is far more important. That's probably why I was acquired. I meant, and Johnny says about that text, I meant exactly what I said. It has become clear. She seemed to take more care and importance in her career than the relationship. Absolutely. And you want me to tell you what I think? I think that when her career started to, that's when she started to get mad. Because I haven't heard about her in any movies. I think she was in Pineapple Express. I think she was in the Rum Diaries. I mean, she's not like a big star. There's a lot of people that have been saying in the comments they didn't even know who she was until they heard about her on the damn trial. So when you really, really, really look at it, it's all jealousy. It's all envy. It's all hatred. She didn't love him. She didn't like him. And she's bisexual, so she probably didn't even like him because he's a man. He was a mark. She wanted his money. And when she didn't get fame because she was his girlfriend, she got jealous, she got envious, and she got mad. It's that simple. It's really that simple. Occam's razor, man. It really, really is that simple. So then they bring out another audio recording where they played the recording of the finger, and then he tells her, I need some... This is the thing. Hold on. Before I get into this, the reason I feel so sorry about Johnny Depp is because he did everything right. Everything. He did everything right. He didn't hit her. He didn't get violent. He didn't... Well, I mean, I guess they showed that video where he was like hitting cupboards and shit. That's nothing. You're not going to make anyone believe that that's violence. Oh, boom, boom, boom. Like he's hitting cupboards. Who the fuck cares? He didn't hit her. He didn't get violent. He didn't do anything after everything she put him through. I mean, that right there, you want to know what that's called? That's called class. That man has class. He's a classy individual. So anyways, getting back to this, he tells her, I need some time. That's it. I'm telling you that will make it worse. And she tells him, no, he tells her, if you're throwing punches, I need to get the fuck away. And her, I'm not talking about throwing punches. Him, in arguments, you tend to throw punches. Her, I'm talking about arguments. And she says it 5 times. Like this girl, I think she was drunk during all these recordings. I do. Because there's even some recordings where you can hear her and she's like, well, I'm not even talking. Like you can hear her slurring her words and she sounds like a drunk whore. That's what it sounds like, man. I don't know if I'm going to be able to say that on TikTok, but we'll see. I'll probably just take that word out. But then she says that, and then he talks about when he split, he wants to split. Dude, the guy wanted to leave every single time she started an argument. And apparently the arguments could be something so small as him not wanting to hold her hand. Really? Really, Amber Heard? Are you 19 years old? You child? You petulant child? Well, what you don't want, and I believe it was, hold on, do I have it here at the end? That Ben King guy, the house manager. Yeah, look, I have it right here at the end. He said that she got mad because Johnny Depp had his hand on her, and then he took off his hand, and she got pissed off. Well, you don't love me anymore? You don't want to hold my hand? Oh my God. I'm getting a migraine. Somebody get me in a leave, not a sponsor. And then we go on from there. Let's see. Oh, damn, I swiped all the way up. My bad. The monster, we passed that. Dr. Kipper, finger. What did she... Okay, and then passing that. And then the attorney asks, what did she get mad at you in Australia about? And he says, there were many instances where Miss Heard would get upset, angry, and argumentative. There were many, many times. The day of my finger had to do with a phone call. When she arrived in Australia, she complained. This woman was allowed to go to Australia for this man, and he probably paid. You know that he probably paid for all of her travel. He paid for all of her accommodations. He paid for her probably rental cars, limo service, all that bullshit. And then all she can do is to pay him back, complain. Dude, get out of my house. Get the fuck out of my house. Like, honestly, get out. Oh my God, I can't even believe that. And then they start talking about when he says the word split, and Johnny Depp says, I would get myself out of the situation so nothing escalated, because if given the chance to escalate, Miss Heard would take it to the extreme. I think that what happens here is you're talking about a person that all they would need is some little fire, little tiny spark, like probably something to where, like, oh, like I said, the lunch, a little tiny spark to where they're not getting their lunch that they want, so they go off. Now, how are you going to make me believe that somebody like that loves you? How are you going to make me believe that? How are you going to make me believe that this woman didn't just want him for money and fame, and every time she didn't get what she wanted because she's a little petulant child, she just went, oh, you don't love me anymore, you don't want to be with me anymore? Like, how are you going to be able to believe that that person loves you? How are you going to ever be able to do that? I don't know. I have no idea. And I genuinely don't understand. And then they go on to talk about, we've talked about this before, where he wanted her to leave the detox when he was there on the island detoxing, remember? Okay, well, he wanted her to leave. She's complaining again, saying that he's abandoning her. He's asking her to leave, and he doesn't appreciate her for all the stuff she's done. What's that? Narcissist. Typical 101 narcissist behavior. That's all it is. This woman is the worst. And then he says, well, we've already talked about that, how he had to get her a bungalow at the Beverly Heights Hotel. And then they go into the video of Johnny Depp slamming cabinets. And the attorney asks him, what were you upset about? And he says, I can't recall if it was bad news about my mother's health. And when he said that, I was like, okay, okay. Dude, if somebody called me and they're like, hey, bro, your mom is really sick, I'd probably lose my shit too. I probably would. I love my mom. I love my mom so much. Like, I think if that was to happen, I really don't see any reason that you don't freak out, that you don't lose your mind, you know? And then not to mention that you get a call, hey, your mom's not okay. And then you have a fucking immature woman sitting right next to you, giving you shit all the time. Ooh. So then they played another audio recording. This is the audio recording where she said, oh, you put a cigarette out on me. And he really didn't. He just like flicked it, and he didn't flick it at her. He simply flicked it. And you know how she is. She was, oh, you put it out on me. And then she starts saying, couch, couch, couch. And he's like, I gave you 3 other couches. And she sounded like a moron, the R word. I want couch. And then Johnny Depp's like, couch, agreed. Like, he answered her like she was a moron. And then she says, by the way, you just threw a cigarette on me. And Johnny Depp goes on to say, I didn't throw a cigarette on her. Probably some little ash fell and she overreacted. Which is absolutely believable, because this woman overreacts about anything. And then, how much more do we got here? Looks like we got a little bit more. Okay. And then they start talking about let's see. God damn it. I scrolled up too damn far again. They start talking about the audio recording where he says, where he says, there's plenty of things you've done. I'll see you in a bit. And she says, is this what matters to you? Your party? And he says, you lied. I never lied to you. And what are we talking about tonight is what? Why are you doing this if it's so important? If you don't want to be with me, if you don't want to be with me in my life, then you need to do it. And after she said that, he took off his ring and he threw it on the floor. And you can literally hear the ding, ding, ding on the floor. You literally can. So then get this part. She starts screaming. She goes from screaming to, I love you. And then she goes from I love you to please don't leave. I don't know what I'm going to do without you. And then from please don't leave to I don't know what I'm going to do without you to screaming again. And then right after screaming, please don't leave. I love you. What the fuck? This woman is certifiable. She is genuinely certifiable. It was ridiculous. I honestly feel bad for this man. I don't know how he did it. God damn it, I lost it again. And then there's another audio recording where you can hear him say, it's going on too long. We have to stop. And you hear her say, I don't know how to get my reputation back. And this was after she accused him. So why exactly do you think she would have lost her reputation? I don't believe that in the slightest. I don't believe that anything about her reputation. She's trying to blame the accusations that she made on him that she can't get work in Hollywood. Dude, you suck as an actress. We all know that. Everybody knows that you fucking suck as an actress. There's absolutely no doubt about that. So don't try and blame the accusations about him, because what does she say? My credibility is shot. And she said, your team forced me to put that out, the op-ed. I didn't choose to do it. And he says, that's a lie. And he says, she just lies to him about calling police. And then they say, oh, and then they showed the audio that's on my page, the big one, where it says about how many people will side with you, which was so perfect. I got to give it to the attorney of Johnny Depp. The attorney for Johnny Depp knew what they were doing. The attorney for Amber Heard, the attorney for Johnny Depp literally played the clip that's on my TikTok page. They played that one at the very end, and it was perfect. And I remember when she said, no further questions, I was like, oh, get her ass. That's right. Yeah. It was a success. Huge success. I'm glad I cut that other video short, because we would have been hitting like 46 minutes. But then I only took this one part down because I heard the whole testimony of that Ben King dude. He really didn't say anything. He was just talking about how Amber Heard was a crazy bitch. And then he goes on to say, I observed Miss Heard drinking 2 bottles of wine. And the attorney says, and how often was that? And he says, daily. I said it last week. Amber Heard is a drunk. She was a drunk. She was a drug addict. She was an abuser and a user. And she tried to take Johnny Depp for all of his money. Well, there it is. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you for staying with me this long. 22-minute video. Probably going to hit 2 videos today. See what happens. But look, man. I got to tell you. I have to tell you. If you're a man and you're watching this and you're with a woman like this, dude, you need to get the fuck out of there. Because you don't have the money that Johnny Depp has. You really don't. You really don't. You don't have the connections that he has. You won't make it out alive. If you are dating someone like Amber Heard, a violent woman, and you can't tell someone, you have to get out. You have to. It is imperative for your life as a man. It really, really is. I hope you guys hear me. I hope you really do. Because you can't handle that. That guy is a multi-millionaire movie star, superstar, legend, icon. The only reason he was able to survive this is because of all that. Because of how big of a star he is. Guys like you and I, we're not going to be able to hang with that. This kind of shit happens to guys like you and I, and we're fucking done. You have to be able to say to a woman, if she's getting toxic, you have to be able to say, get the fuck out of my apartment. I don't want anything to do with you ever again. Because that girl will be the end of you. And I promise you that, bro. You have to get away from her if you're with a woman like Amber Heard. You have to do it. So we're going to end it there. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you for staying with me this long on this second video. I forgot to tell everybody, I'm not going to be doing all the other testimony. We're not going to be bothering with any of that bullshit because I really don't care about it, what anybody else has to say. I only care about Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. So as soon as Amber Heard gets on the stand, we are going live, and I will be doing the same recaps. I mean, I'm going to try and do some recaps for whoever's in the middle between those two, but it really doesn't seem relevant. So we're going to keep on going, see where it goes. I don't know when she's going to be on the stand, but we will find out. And as soon as she is, we're going live. We're doing recaps. We're going to get, we're going to get it all back. So thank you for liking and subscribing. Thank you for staying with me on these 2 videos. We will catch you next time.